Hi guys, how you doing? We're back with another video, and we're gonna be doing something different, something quite more advanced for Unity. I picked this effect, which I got from internet, from a YouTube video with different effects, and I thought it'd be good to try to reproduce this effect with procedural, using generating all the geometry, the animation, everything procedurally. So even the textures. So what is it that we're gonna be doing? So we will divide these in different videos or tasks. In the first one, we will generate this grid, or this kind of like it's like a metal grid, circles, those circles around the spheres, and we will generate this procedurally. You can see how it starts. Well, you cannot see it clearly, but let's see if we can see it more clearly. Here, yeah. So we're gonna start here. We're gonna be given a full circle, then we go down, hit a full circle, we go down, do a full circle, and so on. And we do it all the way to the middle, and then back to another small circle here. Then we will so we'll first probably generate just the nodes where all these go, and then we will generate the geometry for a grid like this. We will do something very basic because it's very small. It's like a wire, like a wire that's been bent to go around this sphere. So we'll do probably a diamond shape, and we'll extrude it all the way through this kind of a path, and that will generate a geometry, a mesh that we will use to render around the sphere. Then in a following video, we will generate all these small little spheres. We will simply use the default sphere from Unity, or maybe we'll do a little sphere of our own, I don't know, and we will just animate them procedurally in a pseudo random way, like they are animated in this video. You can see it's hard to see, but they kind of move a little bit. They grow and shrink slowly. It's hard to see because they are moving all the time. But anyway, we'll do it so that they're not static. They just got them. We generate them also with random sizes and with a small variation, so that they grow and shrink a little bit. Then after that, in a different video, we'll generate these bands here. We're gonna generate them first with geometry, so we'll do something a little bit simpler than these, and we'll generate like subsets of a sphere. Like these are basically like bands of a sphere, bands that go around the sphere. We'll generate them. And we'll also generate in a following video a procedural textures that somehow look like these ones here, okay? And then we will apply those textures to these bands, so we have something kind of like what we see here, okay? And finally, we will put this all together to generate all this sphere, which basically has a independent movement. So you can see the bands move independent from each other. Some of them move in one way, some of them move in another way, and they all move independent of the wire grid that goes around the sphere. But then, and that constitutes one of these big balls, right? But then after that, we will also generate we'll create the procedural generation of these balls so that they go from a point up to the point down, and they go generating new balls. So you have kind of like a stream of these balls, which you can see they're not completely independent. They're a little bit in intersection each other. So there's this one is inside this other one, which is okay. So we'll generate, but not two intersect, not two inside. So they are clearly out. The center is clearly outside of the other one, but they still can intersect a little bit, and we'll generate a stream of them, which will go down and will go, and each one will rotate in its own way, and they will disappear when they get to a point where they're no longer visible by the camera, and they will appear again on the top with a random new size and a random new position. And finally, we may add a little bit of effects here, like these ones, just to to try to look more like the original video. And with that, we'll have this effect. The main purpose of these series of tutorials is to show how to generate procedural geometry, how to do procedural animation, this basic procedural animation, some rotation, scaling, and translation, and to explain a little bit how procedural textures could work, and basically to give you an overview of how you can do things without the necessity of using real art, like going to Photoshop or whatever and painting textures or generating geometry in Blender or 3ds Max or Maya. It is it also helps understand how the meshes and textures work internally. I believe it is a very good exercise to understand how meshes work internally. How do you render a mesh, and how translation, rotation, and scale work. I hope maybe you already know this, or you think you understand all those concepts, but I think this would help solidify them and have them really make sure that you really understand those concepts. I hope you find this exercise interesting, and if you got any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. See you in the next video. Bye.